Good evening, and welcome to tonight's performance of the Impulse Percussion Group playing Sleepless in Wichita, featuring our very special guests, the Britton-Moore Duo. We are so glad that you're here with us tonight. The piece you just heard was Ritual Music by David Skidmore, co-founder of the Grammy Award-winning percussion quartet Third Coast Percussion. Skidmore has said that the title came from contrasting ideas we often associate with ritual. On one hand, simplicity and lightly controlled and tightly controlled structure, and on the other, raw, primitive, almost reckless energy that percussion can unleash. So essentially, it captures the full range of the percussion experience, from counting like it's a matter of life and death and hitting things with enthusiasm. And now, I just want to say it is our great pleasure to welcome our guest artists for the evening, the Britton-Moore Duo. Dan Moore and Matt Britton are both proud alumni of Wichita State University, where they studied in the 1980s with our dear friend, colleague, and my predecessor, J.C. Combs. Since that time, they have built an extraordinary musical partnership, developing a distinctive artistic voice through their unique pairing of instruments and performing together across the globe. Tonight is especially meaningful as this performance marks the final stop of their spring 40th anniversary tour. It has been a true privilege for my students to collaborate with them over the past 2 days, but we thought it only fitting that you first hear them in their natural habitat. So please enjoy the Britton-Moore Duo.
Skidmore, and this is Matt Britton. We are the Britton-Moore duo, and we've been doing this job for about 40 years now. And it started actually in this room, in this building. It's where we met, and we first started playing music together, and we've been playing music together ever since, under the great tutelage of Dr. J.C. Combs, one of our major mentors in our life. So we're really pleased and honored to be back here in Wichita and working with these great students. You'll hear them play more tonight. It's absolutely amazing work that they're doing, so we're just really happy to be here. We have been in love with the music of Chick Corea, Armando Chick Corea, amazing late pianist and composer. And we've been playing his music almost since the very beginning of the duo. We sort of cut our teeth on this music. And we were advised by very smart and well-meaning people to stay away from the music of Chick Corea, because at the time, every great musician in the country, in the world actually, was playing music by Chick Corea. And they sort of were nicely saying, at your stage of development, maybe you don't want to be compared to the greatest players in the world. And so like all really good students, we didn't listen. We'll see. We'll see, yeah. Some of this music we've been playing for a very long time, some of it separately and together. And so we decided to put together this little collection of tunes in a medley form of the music of the late great Chick Corea.
really good friend of the duo. He invited us out here. We're just thrilled to be here. He's going to play cajon on this tune called Calypso #2. Welcome to the stage, Gerald Scholl.
Thank you. So now we've come to the close of our first half, and before intermission, I'd like to invite you to stay with us for our intermission concert talk. After this performance, Matt, Dan, and I will come to the front of the stage to share stories from their remarkable journey and to take your questions. So if you ever wondered what life on the road is like for a percussionist, or how many instruments fit in one vehicle, this is your chance. In addition, both during intermission and after the performance, they will have CDs and vinyl for sale in the lobby. The final work today on this half is an interpretation of Maurice Ravel's Le Tombeau de Couperin. This arrangement was created by a friend of mine, a colleague, Gerald Scholl, a founding member of yet another incredible percussion quartet, the renowned Amadinda percussion group based in Budapest. Originally composed for piano, the work was later reimagined by Ravel for full orchestra. Now, through Gerald's imaginative arrangement, it has been given yet another life, transformed for 4 virtuosic percussionists. The title, Le Tombeau de Couperin, translated roughly as the Tomb of Couperin, is both an homage to the great French Baroque composer, François Couperin, and a deeply personal memorial. More poignantly, it honors friends of Ravel's who were lost during the First World War. Each of the movements, excuse me, each of the 4 movements is dedicated to someone dear to him, including a Basque painter, a trusted colleague who helped copy his scores, and 2 childhood friends who were tragically killed by the same shell. What makes this piece so extraordinary is not virtuosity in the usual sense of speed and spectacle. There are no flying sticks, no dramatic cymbal crashes, and no one is required to catch anything midair. But instead, the virtuosity lies in beauty, elegance, shaping of phrase, subtle nuance, and exquisite attention to detail. And these wonderful young artists bring all of that and more to the music tonight. Please enjoy Ravel's Le Tombeau de Couperin. sell a few.
He was waving at people. So.
Okay, we're good. Thank you all so much. I am really so pleased to have both Matt and Dan here, and we'll just get a chance to talk to them for a little bit. First of all, I know that you guys were here in the 80s. Did you tell us about how you actually met and maybe about your first time performing together?
Sure. So we were in a steel band together, and Dan originally started out playing guitar steel pans, set of 3, and we quickly switched to marimba. His love was mallet percussion. Dave Samuels of Spyro Gyro was a big influence. So we integrated a marimba into the steel band, which made it unique compared to the other steel bands on campus. So that's kind of how we started. And we were working on a cassette project. Remember the cassette tapes, right? We're working on a cassette, and it had some time left on the end of it that we felt like we needed to fill up. So the rest of the band went to lunch, and Dan and I stayed behind, and I'm like, I have this little thing I've been working on. See if you can come up with a marimba part. And by the time the rest of the band came back from lunch, we had our first tune. And it was recorded in the little room, the recording studio back behind that wall. So that was really the first time the duo created something, and that was way back in like 1984 or 5.
And how old were you guys by that time?
Gosh.
Can you turn down the mic, please?
Undisclosed.
Undisclosed, okay.
We were as old as cassette tapes.
Weren't we all?
But that was our start, and we've stayed in touch throughout. We've stayed in touch.
Okay. And then after you finished, who finished first at WSU? That was you,
Same
Dan?
time.
Oh, at the same time. Okay. And Dan, yours was your master's degree, and you finished your undergrad. And then from that point, you both went kind of your separate ways. And then did it take a while for you to rejoin, or had you already been planning that even when you left?
Well, Matt left Wichita and moved to Ohio and was gigging out there and trying to get some gigs, and he couldn't get arrested to play his pan. And I moved to Montana and taught at Montana State University for 8.5 years, and we were 2,000 miles apart from each other, and it's still unclear who made the first phone call to say, hey, we should do something. But somehow along the way in 1985, we started talking on the phone, and it was quite a long distance bill for a while, and we decided to do a tour. So I'm going to book a tour up here in the Northwest, and we went to around Montana and dodged a moose on the road, and just had a great time doing a tour. We were all excited about doing this tour, and Matt comes to town, and we realized that we really hadn't, in all of our excitement, talked about what we were going to play on this expected tour. And we said, well, we got the piece that we played on the cassette tape, and neither of us could remember it.
Anyway,
so
how many times could you have played it anyway on one gig?
We had to start from scratch from there, and then from there we just we played gigs together every year, every summer. I would go out to Cincinnati and we would play gigs on the riverboat cruises and Calypso and soca gigs and just whatever we could take, jazz gigs, and we just kept doing it. And here we are 40 years later, still trying to get arrested.
When did you record your first album? That was Cricket City?
No, the first album, well, we have 2, as Matt mentioned, cassette tapes, double-sided, there was music on both sides. And we had 2 of those, and then in 1986, I think it was, we released an LP. Well, actually, it was an EP. It was a 4-song EP, 2 songs on each side. So some of us in the room may or may not remember LP records, right? There's those big round black things with a little hole in the middle, and you put it on this turntable, and then you take this little diamond-tipped thing and it drags through a dust-filled groove and somehow plays music, right? So we were, I think we have a lot of claims to fame, and one of the most exciting ones is we were the last people in the world to actually release a record album. Because by that time, everybody had gone to making CDs at that time, and we were once again behind the zeitgeist on that one. And our first CD was Cricket City, and that was 1993.
And Matt, when did you move to Nashville, where you started your program? I'd love you to talk a little bit about that and then get into Dan and his work at Iowa.
Sure. Moved to Nashville in 1993, same year we started recorded Cricket City. Was one of the few steel pan players in Nashville at the time. And so I was able to get some studio work and work with people like Kenny Chesney and that kind of thing, because there weren't a whole lot of us. So when you went into the union book and looked under steel drums, there were just a couple of us. So I feel real lucky. I had a really great 30 years in Nashville, and part of that was teaching at Vanderbilt University. I started a steel drum program there with 7 people, and quickly that class kept growing and growing to where by the end of my tenure there were 65 people in a given semester in the steel band. We had adults, students, had a band with all football players. So it was really fun. I enjoyed my time at Vanderbilt, and the opportunity to start a community steel band at Wichita was one of the reasons that brought me back home. So it feels really good to be back.
Well, we're glad you're here.
I should add, you guys are really lucky to have Matt come back and come back to the state he loves and the city he loves and the university he loves. I mean, he is going to be a boon to this community. The things he did in Nashville were absolutely amazing. He had played with great artists. He mentioned Kenny Chesney, but that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg of all the people that he performed with and or recorded with. You may or may know the name Lee Greenwood as a singer-songwriter, and he had this great song called Proud to Be an American, right? Remember this song? I'll proudly stand up next to you. That was Matt. So about how many times did you do that, you think?
Over 700.
I bet.
But yeah, I'm really excited about the community steel band here. I see a couple of them out there, and I know some other ones are watching on the live stream. So if you're interested in learning how to play the steel pan, Wichita Community Education, the classes offered through there, no experience required. We'll teach you everything from how to hold the sticks to play it. So come join us.
And when he talks about community, I mean, it really is a community builder. And I've had the pleasure and privilege of watching him over the last 20 years developing this family of people who play steel pans. The community steel band in Nashville is, I mean, they're still friends, and they're still going places together. And I mean, he really built up a community around that. So I hope that he can do the same thing here in Wichita. So if you know people that are interested in being a part of that, this is a big commercial for this. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Let's get to Iowa.
Iowa, it's the Hawkeyes, right? What more do you, Caitlin Clark, what more do you need to know? I went to Iowa in 1996. It was my first year there. And my predecessor at Iowa started working there at the University of Iowa the year I was born. And he taught there for 38 years before he retired and left me to become the second percussion teacher in the history of the school. Iowa is a very old and storied university, and the School of Music is very, very well known. So I'm really blessed to be teaching, doing what I love, teaching young people to play percussion, and we have a great program there that's just, it's just an enjoyable thing to come in and work with young people. You know, they say that working with young people keeps you young, right? You've heard this saying that if you work with young people, it keeps you young. That's absolutely 100% true. But there's a dark side. Working with young people makes you feel young, but it makes you look really old.
They're clapping for that.
All right, I'd love to, I want to talk about one more thing having to do with one of the pieces that we're playing tonight, but because you've got a great story about that. But I just wanted to start with a few questions, if anybody has any. I'm sure you're probably interested, especially on a new instrument like steel pan, if you don't know it. Yes?
Can you still and do impressions of other musicians, the way they play and move? Are you doing impressions like
How do you remember that? How do you remember that? Yeah, sometimes I'll pull that out. I'll pull out my Milt Jackson or my Harry Brewer or Red Norbo once in a while. But not as much anymore. I try to be me now. But that's, can't believe you remember that.
I don't know much about this.
Don't even worry about it.
Let's talk.
Other questions? Yes?
Question for Matt. How, if you can tell us the development of the steel pan from, what I saw as a child in the island, which they were playing on essentially oil, and how it became the instrument today, and how many makers are there out there?
Sure. I think if I heard your question right, you were asking about the instrument and how it came to be. So what you heard me play is still made out of a 55-gallon oil barrel. Didn't look like it, all the shiny chrome plating, but those are still all handmade from 55-gallon oil barrels. They figured out different ways to streamline the process using Dremel tools to sink the barrel and etch the markings, but they're essentially made the same way they were back in the early 1940s. Takes a really skilled craftsman or woman to build these instruments from a raw barrel. And that's what you heard me play. So it's still made out of, there are people experimenting with different types of containers, but still the vast majority of steel pans or steel drums, both in the States and in Trinidad, are still made out of 55-gallon barrels. I've been playing them for 40 years. I fell in love with the sound here at Wichita State, and it still amazes me that the sound comes out of a barrel. It boggles my mind, and I just love that that's part of the history, is it still is made from a 55-gallon barrel. So, yeah.
And she was asking also about the makers, and the creators of these instruments are just now, like beginning in the last 10 years or so, to pass away. So these folks have been building these instruments since the 1940s, and there were two makers in the United States that were the best known, Ellie Manette in West Virginia and Cliff Alexis at Northern Illinois University, and both gentlemen have passed away now. And there are younger people coming up, in the ranks to make them. A lot of people in Trinidad, but it's something that we have to keep an eye on, because if the young people aren't picking up the art and the craft of doing this, then it could be a problem.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes? Anita?
Still teaching that community class?
Yes. So the Community Steel Band is in the middle of our spring term, but we're going to have summer term, fall term. It's going to keep rolling. I know. I see you, Anita. How are you? Well, let's talk to Brandon and see if maybe he can get a van
work that out.
to bring you
Absolutely.
over.
To get you on steel pan, I can't wait. This is what I want to see.
We'll make that happen.
And I know you were a supporter of the early Wichita Steel Band under JC, so thank you. I was in that band, so appreciate your support.
So one last shameless plug at the end of the concert tonight. Matt and I will be up in the lobby, and maybe you'll bring the pan out.
I'll
up
bring
to
the
the
steel
lobby,
pan up if you want to.
If you want to get a closer look at it. We also have some of our CDs are up there. I have a collection of stuff, the Britmore Duo, some of my personal stuff. Actually, my latest album, The Long Way Home, was just released last year, and I'm happy to report that it is now officially a million seller.
Wow.
Yeah. I've got 1 million of them in my cellar, and we need
Ba-dum-bum.
to get them out.
Where's the drummer when you need one?
So,
Steve? Gavin?
so we'd love to speak to you guys after the concert. We got more great music for you. Stay tuned, and I guess we'll be right back.
Before we go, I just want one of the pieces that we're doing on the second half is called Sleepless, and it's such a cool story that you shared with the students. I was wondering if you could briefly talk about it.
I can do that real quick. The shortened version is Sleepless was, we took the Iowa Percussion Ensemble to China in 2006, and it was a 3.5-week tour of Beijing, China, and Shenyang, China, and we were collaborating with Chinese musicians. And it started with a visit from the professor at the China Conservatory in Beijing, came to Iowa, he brought all the instruments, and he taught us how to play the Chinese drums. It was great fun. He fell in love with my students, we fell in love with him, and so he invited us to do this tour. So they asked me to write a piece of music that would feature the Chinese music and the kind of the Western and American type music. And so I said, sure, I'll do it. And so I set out to write this piece, and when you listen to the piece, what you'll hear is, and you'll see the percussion in the front and the marimbas and mallet stuff in the back, and what you'll hear is starts out with a nice, easy American kind of groovy thing, and then it's interrupted by the brilliant flashes of Chinese percussion, and they're just so energetic and all this excitement in there, but it doesn't really fit anything. And then we kind of try to get the groove going again, and then they interrupt again. And as the piece goes on, we begin to find common ground. And this is my whole thing with music making and life and world peace and all those kinds of things, is that I think if we could communicate a little bit more, if we could learn to collaborate, think more about our similarities rather than our differences, all of a sudden the music starts to take on that personality, right? We start to find common ground, and we can work together, we can groove. And so then the middle of it has some jazzy American type solos. Matt will play a solo, I'll play a solo a little bit over some jazz sounding changes. And then the Chinese percussion can come in and we can all support that and get excited about them. And it all kind of comes together at the very end of the piece. It's a piece entitled Sleepless. And it's because it took me 24 hours overnight to write the piece. And you'll know that the piece is over. You will hear 9 taps on the mallet instruments because it was 9 o'clock in the morning the next day when I finished writing the piece. So I hope you enjoy Sleepless. We've got quite a bit more music to go, and we'd like to get to it. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Welcome back to the second half of Sleepless in Wichita. I hope you enjoyed the break, stretched your legs, and perhaps while the curtain was open, counted how many instruments are on stage. The answer is, as always, more than fit in one vehicle. Our next work is by Christopher Rouse, one of the most powerful and imaginative composers of our time, and a recipient of both the Grammy Award and the Pulitzer Prize. The title of this piece is Ogoun Badagris. And yes, I know it looks intimidating on the program. I like to think of this as the composer's way of testing the announcer before the performance. If I said it confidently enough, then we all agree I said it correctly. This early composition was inspired by Rouse's travels and studies of African and Haitian musical traditions. In particular, the work draws upon his fascination with drumming patterns and voodoo ritual practices. The piece depicts a fierce and violent deity who must be appeased through blood sacrifice. So, naturally, we thought it would make perfect family entertainment for a Monday night. The opening serves as a ceremonial summons, a call to action that immediately pulls us into its world. From there, the music becomes visceral, muscular, and relentless, driven by pounding rhythms and raw physical energy. It is a work that demands not only precision, but total commitment from every performer. And the conclusion, the musicians also cry out a word, the word rele, meaning amen, signifying that appeasement has been achieved and the ritual fulfilled. So, if you feel your pulse rising during this performance, that means we've done our job. I almost could have caught that in midair. Oh well. All right. Our next piece was written by Ligeti, a truly inventive composer in his own right and important musical voice of our time. And yes, for those keeping score at home, he is the son of Gerald Ligeti, whose music became famously associated with 2001: A Space Odyssey. Tonight's work, Pattern Transformations, has a special connection to this concert. It was premiered by Gerald Scholl and the Amadinda Percussion Group, and later recorded by David Skidmore and the Third Coast Percussion. So this piece comes to us through some of the great percussion minds of our time, and now, bravely, through our students. For the performers, this work is something of a mental obstacle course. It requires concentration and precision. It's the ultimate mind game. For the listener, it begins simply enough. One player introduces a 34-note pattern, highly chromatic, and one by one, the other players enter, overlapping each other with that same pattern, creating a dense web of interlocking lines. The piece draws from the minimalist tradition made famous by Steve Reich, but with a sharper edge. Because of the chromatic language, the sound becomes more jagged, more tense, and at times, deliciously dissonant. Minimalism after a double espresso. The transformation begins as each player gradually inserts rests into the pattern. Space opens, motion slows, faster eighth notes give way to broader quarter notes, and through the simple act of playing fewer notes, the music starts to breathe differently. Eventually, something remarkable happens. The players no longer sound like four individuals repeating patterns, but like one shared instrument. Their notes interlock to form a single melody, each performer contributing only a part of the line. The harmonies soften, the tension clears. At moments, it can sound like water droplets after a storm. And then, because percussionists rarely leave quietly, the piece drives toward its conclusion as everyone collides once more with the original 34-note pattern. Please enjoy Ligeti's Pattern Transformation. Well, that was exciting. It was quite a ride. I checked with the performers backstage, and they all agreed the piece went really well. A few of them mentioned, though, that tomorrow they might need a mental health day, and maybe possibly a long nap. Our next set continues a theme we've already noticed tonight: visionary duos and creative partnerships. Much like the Britten duo, the Armstrong duo featuring Dan Armstrong on percussion and his wife Eleanor on flute, helped pioneer a unique chamber music voice that has inspired composers, performers, and audiences for more than 4 decades. I have known Dan for over 25 years, and while he is an exceptional musician, many of us also know him for another passion: creating brilliant transcriptions of orchestral masterworks for the marimba ensemble. The Impulse Percussion Group has had the pleasure of performing many of his over the years. The piece you're about to hear, Neue Pizzicato Polka by Johann Strauss II, is one of Dan's finest arrangements. Strauss, often called the Waltz King, had a gift for charm, wit, and elegance, and this piece has all three in abundance. The idea of pizzicato, or plucking the strings, translates beautifully to the marimba, whose warm and articulate tone captures that same playful sparkle. Performing this piece allows the IPG to step into the Romantic era, but more importantly, it gives them another opportunity to reveal the beauty, grace, and joy of beautifully crafted music. Following the Strauss, we will perform John Pennington's marvelous transcription of Wachet auf Ruft und die Stimme by Johann Sebastian Bach. Lottie, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Like Armstrong, Pennington possesses the rare gift of bringing a new life to familiar masterpieces. In this case, he reveals the elegance, clarity, and spiritual simplicity of Bach's writing through the warm resonance of the marimba ensemble. So, 2 composers, 2 master arrangers, 2 very different worlds of music. Well, all right, we're going to take a very short pause here for a set change, and then in percussion language, that actually means that we're only moving 47 instruments. But I'd like to take this moment to thank a few very important people. First, I want to recognize 3 graduate students who are leaving us this year, but whose contributions have helped shape the growth in spirit and the success of the Impulse Percussion Group. Adam Tilburg has been a 2-year member of the Wichita Symphony Orchestra while here at WSU, an outstanding grad assistant, and this year's Wichita State University Concerto Aria winner. Adam will be staying in the area next year and is apparently only days away from announcing a full-time teaching position. Miranda Marler, last year's Concerto Aria winner, has shown a level of determination and perseverance that should inspire us all. She is just finishing a post-grad diploma program here at Wichita State and will soon be moving to Boston to begin her master's degree at Boston Conservatory at Berkeley. And Michaela Anderson is graduating with a double degree in music and health science, along with a minor in psychology. Michaela will remain with us as she pursues a doctorate in physical therapy here at Wichita State. Would you please join me in congratulating these remarkable students? Thank you. Our performances are also made possible by a wonderful production team working behind the scenes. Thank you to Jacob handling sound this evening and making sure everything you hear is intentional. Thank you for our stage manager, Ogoun, whose calm presence keeps this organized chaos back there moving smoothly. And a huge thank you to Carrie Bynum, whose lighting cues helps make the stage come to life. Once again, after the performance, please take a moment to say hello to Dan and Matt outside the hall, and by all means, support these wonderful artists by purchasing one of their recordings. It's a perfect souvenir and much easier to carry home than a marimba. Most importantly, thank you all for being here tonight, for supporting live music, and for supporting these outstanding young musicians. We are grateful to share this evening with you. Thank you.
1.